I just feel that a lot of builders, or even in the trade space, it's like, no, we've always built with timber.
Yep.
So why not use steel? Why not use this new product? Like, we've always done it this way. If it's not broke, don't fix it. And I came from those tier one construction companies. That was my background. And having worked at those organizations, they had spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on their systems for OH&S, for policies, for procedures, for how they ran their jobs. And it was very much a paper-based system. When you inducted, we literally had people in a room. You'd give them all a sheet of paper and say, cool, fill this out, tick the bottom, sign at the bottom. I'll also sign at the bottom. Let me get a photocopy of all of your cards.
Yep.
Let me staple it to that induction. By the way, now sign all of your swims. And it was a very hour-long driven process. And then you had to file all that stuff and keep it safe in the event that someone came on site and said, show me this person's documentation that he's been signed on so I don't have to give you a big fat fine.
Yeah, and you got to keep it for 7 years or something.
Yeah, and it's just it was for me when your system came on board. So we had one, and we were paying close to $12,500 a year for this software, and it's exactly what you said. It did the job, but it was a bit complicated. The trades didn't like it. My team didn't like it. So I spent all that money, and it was like I didn't use it.
Yeah.
And then you came along. You said, "Listen, I see that you're using that software, and it's a well-known software." You said, "How about you use mine?" At no cost until such time that your software expires, the other one. And then if you think it's good, sign on. So great sales tactic, by the way, in that regard. Yep. Really good that you had done it like that, because then that obviously transponded into everything I'm doing at Builder Elite. Now we recommend you and refer you and say, hey, this is what we use.
Yeah.
You should use it too. So it was great that you've just taken something but simplified it, because there were other softwares out there again that did what you were doing, but didn't do it well enough. And there was holes in their stuff. I'm like, well, how do you know if this person has their tickets? Oh, well, they write a number down. Okay, but how do you know? So it's definitely a great preventative measure when it comes to ticking the boxes as far as your obligations are concerned under OH&S. And it's the fat ugly system no one loves at the end of the day. That's what OH&S is.
100%.
Right? And it's not an issue until it's an issue.
Yeah.
And we had a problem. We had an incident actually on one of my jobs early last year where a concrete boom, the pipe exploded and it sprayed concrete, broke a neighbour's window. Now, had someone been standing there, they could have easily been killed or hurt or whatever it was. So it was a notifiable incident. But the fact that when WorkSafe came on site, the people were all inducted, they were all signed into their swims. We'd done a plant check that morning. So we had all the documentation there. All we had to do was go into your system, print it, and email it to them. They go, here you go. So they then just turned around and said, okay, well, you've done everything as far as practicable to make this site secure and safe and this process secure and safe. We're happy with what you've done. Maybe next time, they'll always try to give you some sort of advice, check the lines or do this or do this. But ultimately, that saved me a huge fine, which would have probably cost 10 times more your subscription.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the delay costs. People don't see that. They only like, oh, this is just, what a pain in the ass. I have to fill out this form. I'm like, yeah, but you never, back in the day, I have to do that manually. Now you get to do it digitally. What a life.
Yeah. And the thing that gives me chills is the amount of people out there that might be running a safe construction site. Let's say, like talking about the stuck in the ways, there might be an older builder that knows how to run a perfectly safe construction site, and they're doing everything on site to keep their workers safe, but a freak accident happens. Someone just slips, they fall off a roof, whatever it is. These things can happen, unfortunately. And if the boxes aren't ticked, that's all that WorkSafe is really going to ask for, right?
That's all they care about. They're all care, no responsibility. And I hate to say that, but it's the reality. They're coming in, and I say this at events, like they'll step over the dead body and go, that's yuck, I won't touch that. Can you show me his paperwork, please? Can you show me this? Can you show me this? Can you show me this? And if you can't show that, then they go, oh, well, then it was clearly your fault that he's died or broken his leg or whatever it's happened.
Yeah, because you can't prove in court that you were running a safe construction site unless you've got your things in place. So 100%, I think the key is to simplifying those things. And to your point before, George, around making it simple for the trades, you don't have to change, the functionality of a piece of software too much. You need to think about the user experience and just little tweaks in wording, where buttons are, how it feels, how simple it is to use can make all the difference between having a product you're paying for that no one uses or a product that you're paying for that actually gets the buy-in and can actually protect you from those processes that we talked about.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you review the Act and standards as far as when it comes to developing your software? Because it does have to comply with certain things.
So we work with partners. We like to be very clear on the fact that I come from mainly a tech background, right? I'm not a builder. I'm not a safety expert. So we can build awesome technology, and we're very clear with people about that's what we do really well. So we have partners, safety consultants that we work with, like, say, Kate Elliott from Elliott Safety. She's an expert at all that, right? She keeps up to date with everything. So we partner with her and make sure that our software is capable of implementing those things. So we just like to stay in our lane of building really good tech. And look, funnily enough, we have gotten a lot of crap over the years from competitors that try and use this in a sales process if we come up against them. Oh, I wouldn't use BuildPass. Like, the two founders, they're not even from a construction background. Like, how do they know what to build? And I find that really funny because, like, if you're a builder, you don't go, and when you go to to get your car fixed, you don't get another builder to go and fix your car because you're a builder. You go and get a mechanic to fix the car who's an expert. And so for me, who runs a technology company, me and my business partner come from technology backgrounds. We are going to build the best product because we know how to build technology teams. And it's not true. It is a pretty difficult thing to do, to build a technology company. And so I just find that quite interesting that a lot of the products out there do come from, say, someone who was in construction without tech, and you might be successful doing it that way, but you got to realize that the technology is a big part of it, and that's what we lean into. So basically, we tell our customers up front, especially in the early days, we're not construction experts. We're going to work closely with you because you're the expert, and you're going to tell us what you need built, and we'll build it in the best possible way.
Yeah, that's really cool. So the name's BuildPass. How long have you been around?
We have been around 3.5 years. Coming up on 4 soon. Yep.
Okay. So for anyone who maybe hasn't heard of the software, do you want to give us a gist of like how it works and what it does? Why should people use it?
Yeah, for sure. So we call it a site operations tool. So we only sell to the construction industry. We have built a platform that helps you run all of the administration of a construction site. So we've talked about the health and safety element a bit. That's where we started, but that's only one.
Okay, so you've expanded out from there.
We've expanded since there. So you think about all the other things that you need to do to run a construction site. You need to manage drawings. You need to manage a schedule. You need to manage the quality of the build and any defects that arise, communication on site. You're running a daily log of what's happening, capturing photos, filling in forms. We can now do all of that through our platform. And essentially the key insight we had was our customers telling us they were sick of using so many different apps. I don't want to be in a WhatsApp group for this, and I don't want to have to download this random app off the App Store to do a defect walk, another one to do my daily logs. I've got a scheduling tool in there as well. None of that talks. Really what we said is that is all happening mainly by a site manager running a construction site. They shouldn't have to go to different apps. They should do it all together, and it should all be linked. And so that's what we have started to build out. We do a lot of that now. There's still some things we don't do yet that we want to do. So it's not saying job done, put down the pencils.
The job's never done.
Your job is never done, exactly. But so that's essentially what we do. We have built a site operations platform for residential and commercial builders to run a construction site, and any workflow that you think of that can happen on a construction site, we can either do through BuildPass, or we want to be able to do it in the near future.
Okay, so it's either there now or it's something that's going to come in.
Yep.
So it's a one-stop system for anything construction, resi or commercial.
Running the construction site, the things that we don't do, which I think is just as important to call out, we don't run your back office. So we're not going to run your construction financials. We're not going to do your estimating, your takeoffs.
Okay, so nothing pre-construction.
And I think that's good.
Yep.
I think that's really important because there is software out there that's like, oh, well, we're doing this. Let's do this as well. Let's do this as well. Oh, we do everything from start to finish.
Yep.
And what ends up happening is you get mediocre software across the board instead of one really good piece of software that does that one thing. So I reckon that's good how you've niched into that operational space as opposed to going, oh, we also do your financials. We also do your estimating. We also do your lead gen. Because then it's just I think it's too many bolt-on things thereafter.
And one-stop shop can sound nice, but really how we think
I
about
think
it
so too. It does sound great in theory.
it's
I've
great
never
in theory.
found one that does it really well though.
If you like that clip and you want to watch another one, click just over here. And if you want to watch the full episode, click just over here. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and thanks for watching.